The Multiversus Yay or Nay series rolls along with our next new character, that being Foghorn Leghorn. This one should be fun. So his meme status has absolutely risen through the roof this year alone, so Multiverses would be wise to try to capitalize that on in some way, right? So possibly making him a playable character. Well, if he was a playable character, what would he bring with him into Multiverses? Well, that's what this video is going to go over. So let's jump into some possible moves that Foghorn might have if he were to become a playable character. Move number one, let's start off with a simple backhand as he yells his patented "Ah, shut up." You know that one? Yes, we got to get that in there somewhere. So I figured this one would be pretty good. And I think you could put this at the end of his side ground attack or his jab combo. So he could have like a 1-2, I don't know, punch or kick. And then he ends off with the third hit being that backhand. And that's when he yells the trademark, "Ah, shut up." That would be perfect. I think that is a great spot for it. And it is patented. It is classic Foghorn here. So got to get this in his moveset somewhere. Move number two, the paddle. I don't even know what, like, okay, so there's that one scene where he kind of like goes after the dog and he's got like, I think it's a piece of the picket fence or something like that, and he just kind of like paddles the dog. So can you do that somehow? Can you turn that into a move? Probably not, because, well, obvious reasons. So maybe he can use that as a, I don't know, like a baseball type of swing or something like that. Same sort of degree. He takes that exact same weapon or the picket fence or whatever it is. He uses that and then he just kind of like swings it. He uses that as an object, you know, so I guess that can kind of make sense. But, you know, I thought this was kind of an iconic sort of scene, a memorable one. So trying to get that involved in the moveset, maybe a little tricky, but I'm sure the devs could work out something. Move number three, how about we go with this one that I'm calling the Baby Chick Stampede. So maybe this is like a side special, possibly. Maybe it could be just a grounded side special, but Foghorn will end up standing on like this chicken wire, this fence, if you will. And what he does is he kind of raises up the fence, and then like a stampede of baby chicks goes storming forward, you know, so that would be kind of fun. I think it's something a little different. This would be a projectile type of attack, gives Foghorn a little bit of a, you know, some range for one of his attacks, so this would be kind of cool. Possibly able to, I don't know, you want to charge this move up, and then the longer you charge it, the faster the stampede goes running forward in whatever direction that Foghorn is facing. So this would be a fun move, so had to include it. And then move number four, the last one we're going to talk about, the classic Watch It Fizz. So how does this one work? He pulls out one of those little beakers or test tubes or whatever from the scene. You guys see it, and then he kind of like shakes it, and then kaboom, big explosion. And then maybe this could be even one of his unique perks if you want to take it a little step farther, and the explosion can be a lot bigger, or maybe the explosion doesn't affect him, or maybe the explosion affects him, but the explosion itself is also a lot bigger, has a bigger radius, if you will. So this would be kind of a fun move. Possibly use it as like a neutral attack, a grounded neutral, maybe a neutral special. I'm not sure quite where to throw it, but you know, this would be a pretty fun one to use. So there you go. Now let's move over to some alternate costume ideas. Got a couple here for you. So up first, what about Foghorn when he was acting as a pirate? He's got, as you can see, he's got the little bandana on. He's got like the little the waistband. I don't even know what to call it. It's not even a waistband, but it's kind of holding the plastic sword. Maybe you, or not the plastic, but it's like a wooden sword. But maybe you get like that look, but he can never use the wooden sword unless we use that paddle move from earlier, but kind of like some other characters in the game when they switch alternate costumes and they have like an object that they use as a weapon, maybe it then changes. So the picket fence might change into this wooden sword, for example. I think, you know, that's an idea. So this would be kind of fun. And then another idea, what about him in his classic blue overalls? I think this would be a really fun one, probably like a rare type of rarity for an alternate costume, but it'd be a pretty fun one. So Foghorn's got some other costume ideas, but you know, those are the two that you know, I'll throw out there for now. Now let's move over to some taunts, or in this case I have a losing animation that I think would be great. So taunt number one, I think this would be a really funny one. But it is when he kind of like flexes his right arm and then he says something about his one good right arm, but then the muscle becomes extremely flabby and just kind of like, you know, hangs there a little bit. It's kind of funny. So imagine pulling this one off on the opponent. You just knock them out. You just KO'd them. You just wrung out your opponent. And then you pull this one out, and then you look down at your muscles, and you're like, oh, my muscles are kind of sagging here a little bit. So, I don't know. It'd be kind of a funny one. I would love this one. So, I guess you could kind of turn that into a losing animation, too. He's just kind of like standing there and then checking out his muscles or whatever, and they're just kind of flat. Whatever. You get the idea. You could use this in multiple ways. But losing animation, or the next animation, the next taunt, whatever you want to call it, I took this one. Is this from the Space Jam movie? There you go. But it's where he gets turned into a crisp. And, you know, his losing animation, he just kind of like turns to dust or whatever he turned into from this clip. I think this would be a really fun one for a losing animation. So there you go. And then, of course, last but not least, just a couple profile icon ideas. You can't have Foghorn without mentioning Egghead Jr., of course, so why not get that for a profile icon? Could be him wearing his glasses where he's kind of like reading the book, as you can see of the picture that I have here. So this would be kind of a fun one. Again, you get Egghead in there just because, why not? And then another profile icon. We mentioned the dog earlier from one of the attacks, so why not get one of the classic, maybe this could be, I don't know, this would probably be a higher rarity, but it's when the dog ends up trapping Foghorn in the doghouse, and then there's like an explosion, so you can kind of get that in there. And maybe you could even turn this into a banner itself. Maybe this is animated, and you kind of get like the smoke going across the banner, which would be kind of fun. That way it kind of like simulates the explosion. So, you know, there you go. Couple profile icons. So now for my yay or nay, for my personal opinion, you guys can give your yay or nay down in the comments whenever you feel like it. But for me, Foghorn's gonna get a nay, only because there's a couple other Looney Tunes that I think should get in before him, but I still would not object in any way to Foghorn getting some type of representation in the game. If it's a playable character, never gonna complain about that. I would love to play as the big dude, no doubt. But in terms of who I really, really want, and then who I would be like, oh yeah, they'd be kind of cool, Foghorn's more in the, yeah, it'd be kind of a cool character. He's not somebody I personally really need, so as per my personal rule for the series, I'm judging it pretty harshly, so Foghorn's gonna get a nay, although I think he'd be absolutely fun as a character, or possibly a ring announcer, hint hint. But either way, that is gonna be it. But before we go, we do got the updated yay or nay stats, so here they are. As you can see, we now have 6 total characters, but only the first 4 have their stats. So updated for Mordecai and Rigby, and of course all the characters do go in order from highest percentage to lowest percentage. So Mordecai is still in first place, and he has a 90.43% yes to no ratio. He got quite a few votes, as well as Rigby did, but both Mordecai and Rigby, as you can see, they dropped very slightly percentage. Mordecai dropped 0.38, and then Rigby is still in second with an 89.10 yes to no ratio, but he dropped a 0.31%. So they both got a couple nays. When you have so many yays and you get like 1 or 2 nays, it's gonna drop the percentage, so it's not like alarming or anything. But the new characters now, Beetlejuice and Peridot. How did Beetlejuice do? He actually currently has the most total votes in the entire series with 125. And he had 100 yeses and 25 no's, which is the equivalent of an 80% yes to no ratio, which is pretty good. All things considered. So Beetlejuice, there, a lot of the comments were, we don't need him, or yeah, we'll probably see him soon enough. But you know, that was Beetlejuice, and then Peridot was a pretty mixed bag. Total of 109 total votes, which was pretty good. That's more than Rigby has, by the way. But yeses or yays, 64 of those, and then 45 nays for her, and she has a 58.71% yes to no ratio. So that is what we got for now. We'll be back again next week with another yay or nay episode and probably the updated stats. So see you then.